Witches, spells, curses, and ancient rituals. What is magic? A hidden force of nature, or a power too dangerous to wield? This is the 13th Coven. I'm Joel Alden. Join me as we unravel the secrets of a coven bound by dark magic and explore the shadowy world where witches walk among us. Is the power a gift or a curse? You know, for as long as I can remember, I've been kind of obsessed with the occult. Anything spooky, witchy, or magical. You know, whether it's the Salem witch trials or just browsing the local metaphysical shop downtown. There's something about the idea of magic being all around us that really kind of gets to me. So I thought, why not bring you along for the ride? This podcast is my way of diving into all things magical, and I'm excited to share it with you. So where do we begin? Well, like any good story about witches, we need to start with what we think we know. Those eerie legends, the whispers of secret rituals, and of course the ever-present question, is any of it real? That's what I'm here to find out. In the 13th Coven, we're going to explore the hidden history of witches, from the infamous trials to the strange happenings in modern times. Some stories you might think you know. Others? Well, they've been buried so deep, even the most seasoned occultists barely whisper about them. But what if I were to tell you some of those stories didn't end in the past? What if I told you, right now, today, there are people claiming to be part of something ancient, something powerful? And what if, just maybe, they're right? I'm not just here to give you answers. I'm here to ask the questions no one else dares to. Let's start with a place you may have heard of. Saint Ashford. A quiet town on the surface, but it holds a reputation that stretches back centuries. They say it's cursed, though no one's really quite sure where the curse came from. Some blame the witch trials, others think it's something older, more sinister, something that's been waiting. But here's what is strange. Every few years, people start disappearing. Not many, just enough to be brushed off as a coincidence. Missing person here, a tragedy there, never quite connected. Until you start to dig deeper. And when you do, you realize that the pattern stretches far beyond this town. Now the rumor, there's a coven here. One of the original 13. They're secretive, powerful, and if the stories are true, they don't take kindly to outsiders. So that's where we're headed. Into the shadows, to find out if this 13th Coven is real, and what they might be hiding. So why am I telling you this now? Well, because a few weeks ago, I got an anonymous tip. A message delivered to my inbox, no name attached. All it said, they're still here. So of course I had to follow it. I'm heading to Saint Ashford tomorrow, it's just a few towns over. If there's any truth to the legends, we're going to find out together. Stay with me. Things are about to get strange. Now, when I started looking into St. Ashford, I figured it would take some time to track anyone down willing to talk, especially if the rumors of the Coven are true. But surprisingly, that wasn't the case. In fact, the very next day after receiving that anonymous message, I got a call. Her name is Evelyn Blackwood. She runs a small apothecary on the edge of town, specializing in her spiritual remedies. You know, crystals, herbs, candles, the usual metaphysical fare. But there's more to Evelyn than her shop. She claims to be a practicing witch. And not just any witch. Evelyn says she's part of a local tradition that dates back to the 17th century. Now, before we go any further, I want to make something clear. I'm not here to sensationalize witches or paint them as villains. What we're dealing with is folklore and tradition that are, often misunderstood. But Evelyn? She's different. She's not just a believer. She says she's living it. When I reached out to her for an interview, I didn't know what to expect. Maybe some vague stories or a few cryptic warnings. But what she told me it was something else entirely.
You know, most people who come in here are looking for something simple. A charm, a little protection, love spells, that sort of thing. But you're here for the real story, aren't you?
I am. And from what I've heard, there's more to Saint Ashford than meets the eye.
That's one way to put it, but you have to be careful. The truth around here isn't always what it seems. The 13th Coven, they're not just a myth, and if you're looking for them, they'll know before you do.
Are you saying they're still active? The Coven?
I'm saying they never left.
Evelyn agreed to talk more about the history of the town, the witches, and her own connection to the so-called 13th Coven. But as we hear, not everything she says is easy to believe, and some of it is downright chilling. Now, Evelyn, when you say the 13th Coven never left, what exactly do you mean? You mean, like, there are descendants here still practicing in secret?
Descendants. That's one way to look at it. But the truth is, the Coven isn't just a bloodline, it's a living thing. A force, a pact that's kept through time. The women who were part of it, their stories were cut short, but the magic, well, it has its way of surviving.
You're talking about more than folklore, aren't you?
Folklore is what they want you to believe. Keeps people from asking too many questions. But the Coven's power, that's real. It moves through the generations, finding those who are open to it. And Saint Ashford, this place, it's a well of that power. Always has been.
You make it sound like the town itself is alive.
In a way it is. There's a reason the ground here feels different. The energy, the history, people have bled for it. Spells have been cast, lives taken, and that kind of magic, it doesn't just fade. It lingers, waiting for the right hands to hold it again.
And these hands, are they a part of the 13th Coven?
They've always been here, watching, waiting, sometimes guiding. They don't announce themselves, not anymore. But every few years, you can feel them stirring. It's subtle, but the signs are there. The disappearances, the strange occurrences, it's all part of their pattern.
Are you saying the Coven is responsible for people going missing?
I'm saying that people don't just vanish without a reason. And if you know what to look for, you'll see their mark. They're careful, but not invisible. It's the ones who get too close to the truth. Those are the ones who disappear.
Why are you telling me all this, Evelyn? Why talk now?
Because you're asking the right questions no one else will. Most people around here, they know better than to dig into the past. But you came here looking for the Coven. And once you start looking, it's hard to stop. I figured I might as well warn you.
Warn me?
They'll come for you eventually, if you keep going. They always do.
And what about you? Are you part of this?
I'm not like them. I practice the old ways, yes. But the 13th Coven, there's something else entirely. I don't speak for them. I don't get involved. But I know enough to stay out of their way. And now, so do you.
So what do I do next?
You listen, you watch, and you don't underestimate them.
Evelyn's warning stuck with me long after I left her shop. As strange as her words were, Something about the way she spoke felt real. Like she wasn't trying to scare me, but like she was trying to prepare me. I don't know, but if she's right and this 13th Coven is still out there watching, then what happens next? Well, that's what we're going to find out next time on the 13th Coven. Stay with us. The 13th Coven is written and produced by Kasper. Special thanks to everyone supporting the show, whether by sharing, reviewing, or simply tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and leave a review if you're enjoying the story. Your support helps more than you know, allowing us to conjure up more episodes and dive deeper into the mysteries of Saint Ashford. Together, we'll keep the magic alive and the secrets unfolding.